Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Mercedes GLC Coupe facelifted model, and can you hear it? Yes, it is a diesel engine. Right, it's known as the 300D, and straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay. There you see it, but it's still the same 4-cylinder engine. There's insulation right there, but there are changes to the car in terms of aesthetics. Firstly, it gets this AMG sort of a grille, but you know what? This doesn't get chrome, which is there in AMG models. Instead, it's finished in black. Meanwhile, the bold Mercedes logo, another Mercedes logo, the grille and the bumper and the headlights have been revised on this car. The lights look beautiful at night. They are very powerful. These are multi-beam LEDs. Mercedes-Benz written right here. There's this blue tinge on the inside which looks really very nice at night, and of course the Mercedes-Benz logo as well. Now this is the LED DRL. You know what? It actually doubles up as the indicator. Yup, that becomes the indicator. Looks very nice. Front parking sensors. There's a front parking camera as well. There's chrome treatment on the lower side, and coming to the side you realize that it looks very sporty thanks to the sloping roofline. Now this is of course a rival to the BMW X4. Sloping roofline will obviously eat into the headroom as well as the boot, which we'll come to in a bit. The wheels are 19 inches. I'm not sure about the design. I'm not really liking it or hating it. I think kind of neutral design language. 235, 55, 19 is the size of the tire, and you get this black cladding running throughout. You get side footsteps as well, which have this black treatment for reasons best known to Mercedes-Benz. I think it's for better grip. And the sloping roofline looks nice, but you get the chrome surround around the windows, of course. Meanwhile, in AMG models, it's all gloss black, probably completely blacked out because more sporty as such. You get chrome lining here of the tail lights. The tail lights also look fantastic, inspired from the new GLE as well as the GLS, and of course on the facelifted GLC as well, you get updated lights. So you see, updates are minor, but still make this car look a lot more appealing. The rear tire size happens to be 235, 55, 19, same size of tire everywhere, not really wide as such. You get rear parking sensors. And you know what, the car looks really very nice from the rear because the design language makes it look sexy AF. Says GLC 300D 4MATIC, and of course black colored rear bumper. Now are these exhausts real? Well, they are not. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will tell you these are not real exhausts on this car. These are fake ones for reasons best known to Mercedes-Benz. Okay, this is the real exhaust, and that's about it. That's just a single exhaust here. Coming to the side, the other side rather, I love the way the car looks from this angle. It looks super duper sporty. What you're going to do is you're going to open the boot, but let me tell you, there's a reverse parking camera inside this, which comes out when you get into reverse. Just press this and there the boot opens. It gets a power tailgate. The boot carrying capacity has actually reduced, but it has increased. Why is it increased? Because obviously earlier Mercedes-Benz used to put the spare wheel on top, now they have put it on below. So yes, more space than the pre-facelift model, but because of the sloping roofline, it eats into the boot carrying capacity of this coupe model. And there is the spare wheel, 145, 80, 19. Yeah, that is a small size tire. Of course, it's not an alloy. This is the first aid kit. You can actually recline the seats by pressing a button. There, the seats recline. That's a nice touch. Okay, there's a hook here, and there are plenty of anchor points to actually hook your luggage. That again is a nice stuff, rather nice thing. And this is the parcel shelf. You can open like this. Press this button, and there the boot closes because it gets a power tailgate. Straight away, we are going to enter the rear seat of this car, and because it's a Mercedes-Benz, obviously quality levels are fantastic. The door almost opens 90 degrees. Take that, Tata Altroz. And of course, you've got a sun blind here, which is manual. Let's put this back into place. Now you see, the seat is actually quite comfortable. Recline angle is good. There's good amount of space on offer as well. But there's a small problem for tall passengers like me because the under thigh support isn't the best. Headroom is at a premium. But you know what, they've scooped out. Okay, you go from here, it scoops out just to increase the headroom on offer. There is a center armrest with cup holders. Yeah, they're twin cup holders right there. There's storage space below as well, so pretty practical in that sense. There are two AC vents at the rear, but you can't control them. You can only shut them. But there is a 12-volt charging socket along with two USB-C charging outlets as well. This car has only USB-C charging outlets, 3 adjustable headrests. So rear seat comfort is kind of decent. It doesn't really eat into the rear seat comfort thanks to the sloping roofline. There's a light placement along with a hook and a handle. Same is the case there as well. The dashboard is similar to the GLC facelift, so not much has changed in that sense. Let's quickly get out and get into the driver's seat. Now I'm a bit disappointed because this car misses out on certain features, like it doesn't get keyless entry. You have to actually open the car with the remote. At this price point, you would expect keyless entry. First things first, we're going to turn off the air conditioning. Air conditioning is off actually. Lot of space in the door pockets as well. Love the metal switches. Now it gets memory seats. You can say up to 3 people setting, not only the driver but also the co-passenger, which happens to be Nuren today. Hey Nuren, what's up? Phone addict, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, that's what phone addicts always say. Addiction is such a bad thing. Okay, under thigh support is not an issue because you can see you can increase the under thigh support. I'm just going to put it inside right now. Yeah, but when I'm usually driving, I put it all out because under thigh support is fantastic. See, it's a very comfortable, very sporty, very nice as well. Good amount of side bolstering, and obviously you can adjust lumbar as well. Now this Mercedes-Benz logo actually glows at night when you open the car. All black dashboard looks super awesome, along with this nice silver sort of finishing as well. Let's get inside. First and foremost, let me turn off the indicator. Now, a lot has changed. What has changed? Basically, you get a new 10.25 inch MBUX infotainment system, which is very slick. It's awesome. It gets a touchpad, which I don't like. I like the old command controller, the rotary knob, but that's gone, unfortunately. Now this is a touchscreen. Earlier ones were not touchscreens in Mercedes cars. It is fantastic to use. The best thing is that it has got 64 ambient light colors. 64 freaking ambient light colors. That's only something which Mercedes-Benz does. Amazing ambient light colors. These are the controls for the air conditioning. Love the switches. Really nice knurled finishing on the switches. And these are various buttons for various things like telephone, navigation and radio. This is to get into car there. And to various things like active brake assist and whatnot. Which by the way has 3 settings as well. Attention assist, vehicle. So a lot of information. The graphics are super duper nice. Love the way the GLC actually spins right there. And this is the hazard light button. Meanwhile, there's storage space below here as well. Now this is a wireless charging pad, a USB-C charging socket. This is to keep the key. They have actually marked, this is the only place you can keep the key. I'm just kidding, you can keep it anywhere. And this is the ashtray of this car with weird stuff. You can actually remove this, put it back into place. Let's open the front center armrest. Now there's good amount of storage here. 2 USB-C charging sockets. The glove box is lockable and it's got just not much amount of space, honestly. There's a light placement along with a mirror. Same is the case here as well. And there are mic placements everywhere. There's a mic here, there's a mic here. I believe there must be at the rear as well. Lot of lights here. Yeah, lot of lights here. What you're going to be doing is we're going to be opening the sunroof of the car, which is kind of on the smaller side. The sunroof could have been bigger for sure. I'm going to press it once again and then it opens completely. Now because of the sloping roofline, you obviously cannot get a panoramic roof in the Mercedes GLC 300D Coupe 4MATIC. Ooh, that's a long name. Frameless inside rear view mirror, which is auto dimming by the way, and you get this all digital cluster, which is not the case with the regular GLC. So you can change the modes. Yeah, they are fantastic. Progressive is something which is new, and that's not all. You can actually go right and you can change this as well. You can see map, navigation, a lot of stuff, including a G-force meter. Why would you need a G-force meter in a car which doesn't have 6 cylinders? Well, I have no clue. Obviously the navigation is fantastic on this car. Here, let's get into navigation. There we go. Really nice graphics. Touchscreen works fantastically well. You've got a lot of controls here. This is obviously for the drive mode selector. This is for parking sensors. This is for manual mode. This is for the stop start system, and this is for traction control. This is for the camera. The 360-degree parking camera is fantastic. Here, you want to see cameras? That is one view. That is another view. Lot of views for the cameras. So if you don't park this car properly, the blame is on you. You're stupid. This is to turn off the screen, and this is the volume controller. Now this touchpad could have been a little bit better, but you've got another touchpad here. We've got another touchpad here, and you can see the ambient light colors. Fantastic again. Now this is very BlackBerry style. These are the buttons for the cruise control system. These are the buttons for audio system. This is for volume actually. This is to get into home. So this actually operates this. This actually operates this. I kid you not. You press this button, there you get into home. You press this button, and then you can get into home, and you can browse through a lot of information. But this is the typical Mercedes affair which we see in almost every Mercedes car. Nothing new. This is a gas selector. This is the engine start stop button. Okay, automatic headlights controls here. This is for fog light. This is for the headlight leveler, and I think you can insert a card here to keep it. That's also pretty cool. The paddles are actually plastic on this car, and these are the controls for the indicators as well as for the wipers. So you see there's plenty of spray on offer. Now it doesn't get a rear wiper washer because of the sloping roofline, and because it is a coupe, it gets electric adjust, yeah, for the steering wheel, both for reach as well as rake, which is again very cool. The quality of the interior is fantastic. It looks really very nice. And this screen is the major change, which is one of the best. In fact, it's also got voice commands, which we will use while driving this car. Let's straight away get into reverse. There, the reverse parking camera opens. Well, I don't have much to talk about in terms of the interior appeal of this car, because the interiors are appealing. Feel a little old when you compare to the new GLE as well as the GLS. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get going. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost we are going to turn off the air conditioning of the car. Air conditioning off. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Engine data. Alright, we get into drive mode. We move the drive mode into Sport Plus, We turn off traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, and revving the motor. Rev still 2450 RPM, and acceleration is actually very brisk for a 4-cylinder engine. It does move very briskly, and because the ride quality is so good now, you can go a little faster over rumblers as well. So this is a 2-liter diesel engine. It's the same engine which is also available in the GLC 220D, which happens to be the regular SUV model. Now this is the SUV coupe, which gets the 300D engine. Now both of them are the same engines, only the tune is different, because here you get 50 extra horsepower and 100 Newton meters more torque, which means that this one produces 245 horsepower, and the torque output is an impressive 500 Newton meters, which comes in at a low 1600 RPM and peaks at 2400 RPM. Actually, the peak torque is between 1600 to 2400 RPM, giving it a rather wide torque band. And oh no, what have I just seen? Oh my god, that is the Toyota Land Cruiser Mini right ahead of me. Okay, it's an urban cruiser. That said, you know what is the best thing about this car? It's very sprightly, it's very peppy, it's very fast as well for a 4-cylinder engine. It absolutely punches ahead without any issue whatsoever. Power delivery is linear, there is no lag whatsoever, and it feels so enthusiastic in the lower end of the rev range as well, which is fantastic about this engine. And the motor is super refined, braking performance is phenomenal on this car. Really stops in its stride without any issue.
राइट साइड से बहुत लाइट आ रही है, ये पूरा पता है राइट साइड पूरा ऑरेंज हो गया था.
Okay, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is dispatched in 6.6 seconds, which makes it 1.3 seconds quicker than the 220D. Okay, traction control is off, but because this is 4MATIC, well, there's not going to be any loss in traction at all. This engine is showing a red line of around 4350 RPM, but it doesn't give you manual control of things. Now, I have actually used the paddle shifters right now, but it will not give you manual control of things. It will upshift, so I don't even understand the point of having paddle shifters, because it's just going to shift up when it feels like. It's just going to shift down when it feels like. That's kind of disappointing, feels like, actually. That said, I love the fact that the motor is very refined. You cannot hear it at idle. You can't hear it at all unless and until you get into the higher end of the rev range. The motor likes to pull nicely in the top end of the rev range. In fact, it is punchy till 4500 RPM, post which there's slight decline in, oh my god, what is this rumbler strip? Okay, there's a slight decline in enthusiasm. So you can hear a bit of the engine in the high end of the rev range, but it's sporty. It doesn't feel unrefined, doesn't feel strained, it doesn't feel out of place at all, no matter what revs you take it to. But only thing, if I could hold the red line at 5350 RPM, that would be absolutely fantastic. Now this is the new OM654 engine, which replaces the OM651 in Mercedes' fleet, and honestly, this coupe could have done with the 350D. That would be something, because obviously the X4 comes with a 6-cylinder engine. Unfortunately, the GLC coupe does not, because the GLC 43 comes with a 6-cylinder petrol engine. But hey, I'm not complaining, because for the price difference, this seems complete value for money, because you pay 6 lakh rupees extra for the 300D coupe over the 220D regular non-coupe model. And wherever I go, this Toyota haunts me, which means that I have to just come to a halt right now. I like the brakes on this car, very chauffeured. The only thing is that pedal feel now is not accurate somehow. You kind of feel that it's not really progressive, the brake pedal, which makes me put the cluster into progressive, and off we go. You can feel that roll, right? Because the suspension is on the softer side, and because of the soft suspension, there's obviously roll. Ride quality is actually brilliant at lower speeds. It's also good at medium speeds, but at higher speeds, and there's a bit of a float inside this car, and because of that float, you can feel a little bit uneasy, specifically at higher speeds. But still, the steering wheel is absolutely phenomenal. It offers great amount of feel and feedback for sure, and Mercedes is making some great steering wheels, way better than what BMW is doing, because BMW steering wheel are losing the charm, but Mercedes is doing a fantastic job, because the steering is light at low speeds, it does weigh up at high speeds, and obviously the steering feel also changes according to the drive mode. So there are 5 freaking drive modes on offer. There's obviously Eco, there's Comfort, there's Sport Plus, and there's Individual, which lets you configure whatever 3 things are there inside to configure, which happens to be the engine, the gearbox, which are together actually. The gearbox is a 9-speed unit, which happens to be very smooth with shifts, but unfortunately it's not the fastest around, and it also configures the ESP mode, and of course the steering wheel too. But you know what is the best thing about this car? It doesn't feel so SUV-ish in the way it drives. It feels more peppy, it feels more like you're driving a hatchback on steroids, and that's the reason why you can actually push this car around corners hard and fast, in spite of the fact that the suspension is on the softer side. So this is a fun to drive car, although I think the suspension could have been stiffer still, and maybe they should have offered adaptive dampers too, because adaptive dampers would have resulted in the fact that in Sport Plus mode, the car's engine and the suspension would be on the same level. Not like, okay, the suspension is like, I'm going to be soft, engine is like, I'm going to be sporty, and the result is when you come around the corner, you roll, and you roll a bit, although it maintains its line because the tires have splendid amount of grip. I love the CCTV parking camera. So the Mercedes GLC is priced at a premium of rupees 6 lakhs over the GLC 220D. This is the 300D, of course, and the petrol version is slightly cheaper at, I think, 73 lakhs on road Mumbai. This costs 76 lakhs on road Mumbai, and for the price you get a fantastic looking car which also performs decently well, is comfortable, the engine is good, could have been better with a 6-cylinder engine because of the X4. I'm always wanting to get something even more powerful, but then fuel efficiency could go for a toss. Now this returns a mileage between 8 to 10 kilometers per litre, which is quite respectable. In the C-Class, the C300D, of course, this engine feels fantastic because of the added weight on the GLC. It doesn't feel as sprightly, but still it actually feels punchy and peppy, and that's something you cannot argue with. But what you can argue with is the fact that if you're looking for something even more performance oriented, just get the GLC 43, which is also assembled in India right now. So that means that the GLC lineup is completely complete. That doesn't even make sense, because you've got the 220D for those who are looking for something entry level, you've got the 300D who wants to stand out of the crowd, and of course the 43, which is fantastic. Now only thing they need to get is the 63, which is extremely quick and also has done a fantastic lap time on the Nürburgring. Every time I get on the gas, I realize that the gearbox could be slightly quicker in terms of shifts, but this is a 9-speed unit. It is smooth, it's refined. Everything about this car is about smoothness, refinement and comfort, and the suspension as well as the gearbox are actually in sync in that regard. Launches at 2400 RPM. Upshifts rather quickly as such. Did you hear that? That is the active brake assist, which somehow doesn't work in sport mode. What does it exactly do? Well, it automatically applies brakes when it senses there's something in your line of path and you're going to hit it. But before it does it, it gives you a warning by getting that red triangle in the center, and of course it also makes a sound. If you don't apply brakes, the car will apply brakes on its own. It's a fantastic system. Only thing is that you should not let the car apply the brakes. You should apply it before it does that, because when it does sort of a panic brake with some sort of judder as well, which can kind of panic you as well. That said, the Mercedes GLC 300D Coupe is an absolutely fantastic car for the price, for what it offers. Feels nice, fun, and of course is very desirable as well. And guys, this is my vlog of the Mercedes GLC 300D. What am I doing? Trying to evade these rumbler strips, which have been made with no thought whatsoever, but no ground clearance issue on this car. Not that this car is going to go off-road as such, because it's more soft-roader than off-roader. And if you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye-bye.